Hello and welcome to today's episode of Created to Write. I have the lovely Heidi Honey all the way from America with me today. How are you, Heidi?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good to hear. Can you please introduce a little bit about who you are and what you've written so far to our audience?
Okay, I have been married to my husband John 45 years this summer. We have a daughter and three sons. They're all grown and married, and we have nine great well, I don't say they're great. We have nine grandchildren that are really wonderful. Days like
Lovely.
today, I spent a couple hours helping at our historical society. I'm on the worship team at church, and I love to sing. This winter, I did a lot of jigsaw puzzles because it was a lot of snowy weather when we were snowed in a lot of times. I guess a big part of our life is we have a big garden, and we like to share it with people. I take baskets of food into our church when I go to service, and everybody loves the fresh vegetables.
Love that.
Yeah, so
That's
yeah.
awesome. I like to do the odd jigsaw puzzle too. In fact, I did one last weekend. It's a really good way just to defrag the brain.
Yeah. Well, I have a blog I started in 2018. I had a goal of writing once a week for the blog, and then it kind of got less and less after a while, and sometimes
Mm,
it's once a month or twice a month now
I see.
as things come and as I have time to sit. Every time my husband asks me what I'm doing and I say I'm doing my blog, he says, "You're always doing your blog." That's because when you ask me when I'm on my phone, that's what it usually is. And lately I've been going through my pages and straightening things up. I didn't have time to when I was publishing quickly.
Uh-huh. Very cool. So tell me, what has been the most amazing part in your writing journey so far?
We have a group called Live More Ministry. They do quarterly women's meetings. They have a little brunch and then a speaker. And I got to be their speaker a year ago.
Very
I
cool.
shared some things from my book, and my one of my older friends that loves to sing and hasn't sung in a while, she and I sang, and one of the women from the church we were at played the piano, and the other played her guitar, and we did a four-part harmony on the hymn that's at the back of my book. And then we did another uh, worship song with them before I started speaking. So that was really great because I got to have one of my good friends from church watch my table while I was speaking. And I saw one of my friends from the church where I used to go before we moved, and she came and she even took some pictures and some video clips for me. And that was pretty exciting because that was a whole year after my first books came that I actually got to share it with a group.
Oh, wow. That would have been just exciting.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Amazing. And tell us, how has your faith shaped how you write or how you go about your writing?
My book started with my blog pages, and I write about things the Lord had shown me in the Bible, things that are happening in my church, things that I've been hearing from usually YouTube videos that I listen from. I like Elijah Streams because he interviews a lot of prophets, and I like to hear what the prophets are saying about what God is doing. I also like Sid Roth's program. It's supernatural because he ministers to people from the Jewish perspective, and he's a born again believer. And he has a lot of interesting guests on there too. Those things just lead me to write. And one of the things I wrote was for somebody on LinkedIn that does an online newsletter, Christian newsletter. And I shared a story of the worst time in our marriage and how God brought us through it. How our marriage is even better today than it was 25 years ago.
Yeah, that's great. So, what has been the hardest season so far in your writing?
My husband found out that I'd spent $5,000 on marketing
Oh,
and he didn't know anything about it. Yeah. my first publisher, she ended up going through cancer treatments while we were working on my book. And then I went on a trip to Africa about the time we were supposed to be having an interview and all these other things going on. By the time I came back, she had me do a last proof through my book, and then she had it published. And about 2 weeks before I got my book, she died. She went to her doctor, and they found out the cancer had gone all through her body. And next thing I knew, I contacted her husband and said, "Well, how's she doing? We're praying for her healing." And he said, "Oh, she died last weekend." And I said,
Oh.
"Well, sorry." So that's
Mm,
part of my publishing journey because I had to get a hold of him to get permission to republish with KDP Publishing on Amazon.
mhm.
And I had to get him to take my book off of the website because I had a couple of people that went to the website that our publishing company had, and they'd ordered books and they hadn't come. And I said, if you're not sending out books, you need to shut down the website. So that was a little part of the difficulty at the beginning. So,
Would have been so hard to do that. Yeah.
yeah. And so this interview should have been done December 2024 for my first publisher.
And there's a lot of people out there who are wanting to take money for marketing of books, and they don't all do a good job, unfortunately. So, did you have any success with that marketing company?
They did a website for me, a very
Hmm.
expensive website, but they did me good pictures to go with it. They did me a like 30-second video of not me, but something about my book. They got me an Instagram account and they got me a Facebook author page, and they republished my book with the original cover because when I published on KDP, I had problems because I was using the marked up form that they originally printed the book from, and you had to take all those bookmarks off, and you have to. And my publisher, my first publisher, had an older computer, so she couldn't fit my whole file on one file. So she had a second file. So the page numbers messed up about 112 pages in. And
Oh, wow.
when we published on Amazon, the page numbers were all messed up. So
Mm.
they fixed the page numbers for me and got my original cover back on.
Well, I'm glad there was some value there. I have heard of people forking out that much money and really not seeing any return. So
Yeah.
that's I'm glad you got something for that.
My
What was
husband
that?
wants to take my audiobook off Amazon because he said, you paid $1,200 to have him help you with your audiobook and you're getting nothing from that because everybody's got the plan where they get the free audio books.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. More and more people want audiobook though, don't they?
Well, I have a friend whose son actually bought her the audiobook, and she said she enjoyed listening to it while she was working around the house, and I was talking about some things we'd gone through together, and she was very encouraged to have it play.
Yeah.
So she was the only one that I got feedback from that was good enough for me.
Yeah. Well, that must have been special to hear that. Have you connected with any other readers who've actually read the paper version or the e-version?
Yes, I have. Um, I have a habit of giving my book to people when I want to give them something. Or I start talking to them about things and I say, here's the rest of it in my book. I wrote about it in my book. And well, like new people that come into our church, I gave one to a man that comes to our Heritage Festival in the summer, and he plays his guitar and sings through the whole festival. And I gave him my book, and he says, "Oh, your book was wonderful. I really enjoyed it." I had an older woman I met. We had a 100th anniversary celebration at the Baptist church where I grew up, and I went back for it. And I gave one of my books to an older lady I connected with, and she wrote to me and says, "Oh, this is the best book ever. Everybody should read this for their Christian life to enrich it." And then I had my niece, I sent her a book, and she was telling my sister, I didn't know that. I didn't know this. I didn't know that. Because I put a lot of stories of our family in that she probably didn't know because I don't think she was born yet when my mother died. Told
Wow.
stories of my mother and my grandmother.
So far, what's been the highlight of your author career?
I think the highlight is so many God moments, so many curious moments that I talked about in my book. No matter where I am, I have my book with me or I have my card with me so they can get my book.
Yeah.
And I met up with a woman in a bathroom in a restaurant one day. I asked her if I could pray for her knee because she was having real bad knee problems. And she says, Oh, I'm feeling your hand now. When you put it on my knee, it was warm. Your hands are cold. I said, That's because Jesus was working through my hands. And she said her knee felt better. So I gave her one of my books, found out she was just retired from the library in the city. And she was very interested in my book.
Wow.
And it's just so fun to be able to encourage other people
Yeah.
with what I write.
Yeah. That is definitely very encouraging and exciting when you can connect at that level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining us today. Please hit that like and subscribe button. I'm going to drop Heidi's links below, so please go and follow her and buy her book. And before we part, do you have any words of wisdom you would like to leave the wannabe writer or somebody who's just starting out?
I hooked up with Leslie Leyland Fields, or actually published my book, and I did her. Uh, the book is Everybody Has a Story. I think that's what her book is called. And she was a writing teacher, and she has seminars and things. And she does a very good program through her book. And she also has, you can do a 4 session video sessions for free if you connect with her. And she will take the one chapter, she'll talk about that part of writing, and then she will give examples of that writing. And then at the end, she has a topic for you to write on. And she just wants you to quickly write like 1 page and then go through and pick out the main parts of it and then write into those main parts. And it's a good discipline that she gives you. And I think that's where I have to go with the second book I'm trying to write, is just take the topics I want to talk about and write into each topic and then put them together. And if you are really somebody pushed to write, have something to write with all the time, a notebook or notes on your phone or your computer. Just write, 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 even if it's only 10 minutes a day. Just write down what's going on in your life or something like that. I've looked back at some of mine and said, wow, was that really going on a year ago? I don't remember that.
Great advice. Thanks for sharing and thanks for joining me today on the show. It's been a pleasure getting to know you.
Thank you. I really appreciate your being here. And I hope that your videos and your podcasts go very well because you're doing a very good job with things.
Oh, thank you.
And you've been a
Appreciate that
big
so
help to
much.
me.